You can swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give will be the truth and the penalty of perjury?
I do.
Please introduce yourself to the board.
My name is Josephine Gutierrez. I live in Honolulu, and I breed horses. I go for barrel racing, roping, and we sell a few horses, and I also have cattle.
How long have you been in the livestock world?
For about 10 years.
10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And describe your experience with breeding horses.
I had a previous young stud that I did breed when I was young, and we bred a few of my mares, race mares, and it was pasture breeding. He got out of control, so I decided to cut him. Became a gelding, and he was prop cut, so nothing worked out. So I sold him as just a ranch trail horse. And I recently got this racehorse stud. He sold for $15,000 just as an embryo. Jessica Chico, he's a long stud. And we were planning on trading him for barrels and roping, entering him into maturities, getting some earnings behind him. His dad was what was his name? Justice Kid, who was a known racehorse. And so we wanted to show him so we could stand him as a prize stud. And because of his color and his demeanor.
So I'm not sure we made it clear to the board. So describe where your house is, what's the kind of properties people get going with.
It's on the mile marker 286.5. It's right off the Highway 70. I have a blue arena, roping arena, and it's right off the road. In my entrance, you can see where I have my roping spears. There may be a horse or two in there. And I have a round pin right next to the road. Anyone can see it. My house is located in the middle of the property. I have a few stalls on the backside, and I have a pasture right behind the post office, which is public, right off the Highway 70. And it's easy to see. I mean, from angles, depending on where you're coming, you can see the horses right off the road.
And so what's the nearest community to your house, to this property? Nearest township?
We're going to Rockville.
How far are you from Rio?
Huh?
How far are you from Rio?
I'm about 25 minutes, 30 minutes from, or 20 minutes, 25 minutes from the Show, and 45 minutes from Rockville.
So looking at Exhibit B, let's describe this with that picture.
It's showing my house, my trailer, my roping arena. You can kind of see a horse in the background on the left side, right there. You know.
So there's a horse, is that the pasture?
Yes.
So is there any place on this property where you can conceal a horse for 2 or 3 weeks?
No. Not really, not if you're really looking. I mean, it's hard to miss. And I have people call me all the time if they want to buy a horse or if they see any horse.
Let's turn to Exhibit A, if you will. Does that show a pasture there?
No, that's the entrance to my house, and that house on top, the redder Anita, where he lives right there.
Let's turn to Exhibit. Let's get the best picture of the pasture. So if you can,
Exhibit C, that's showing the corral right off, behind my house. Exhibit C. And then, there's Exhibit E, directly behind my house, towards the highway.
That pasture?
Yes. If you look on the right-hand side, you see the post office, the purple post office right there.
That's the region.
On that, you can see the post office.
Is that the pasture where the pasture green took place
Yes,
in that photograph?
yes.
About what size is that in terms of weight to the?
Oh, approximately 6 to 7 feet.
As far as how you going to have a relationship with Holly Robert, in this case?
I met Holly on Facebook. I asked her about a horse. She was supposedly a rescue. And, I had told her that I take them to rescue everyone and she was interested in one of our horses. And, she was coming from Montana, I think, her and Jada. They had looked at a horse or something, they were coming through and they wanted to stop at my place, to look at the horse and talk about horses.
You can look at exhibit H. That's the section, now, this is why we did in social policy, the water. What do you know her name?
Holly Alegria. But she also goes by Holly.
You know why she goes by 2 names?
Yes, I do.
Why is that?
Jada is Holly's wife and she's their poison.
I'm gonna object, as being completely irrelevant why the court's here.
I'll look at it. I'm trying to understand do you know why she identified herself on this official document called the?
That is why they're,
Once again, I'm gonna object to one question.
they have a relationship.
When she does business with you, what last name is she?
It just depends. It's to you both.
Okay, then, did you understand, who do you understand was the owner of the unit?
Holly,
Just Hall.
yes,
And we know the first horse that you did business with Holly with,
yes.
Tony. And what were you agreeing to, what was the nature of the arrangement?
We were to break Reno. She was gonna keep him there for a full year. We got him in November, so the following November, we were supposed to keep him. Then they decided they wanted to get some roping done on him and possibly some barrel racing, so we told her, well, that's gonna take a little longer, him on the horse and getting him built right, you know, to be able to compete at the level she wanted him to compete at.
And how, what was the payment arrangement for Reno?
I remember, she had given us like 2,000 down, and then she was gonna owe, for that following, November. And just there was more arrangements made.
And then how did you first hear about Kelly?
She was talking today about breeding, Kelly, and, they wanted to get into a little bit of racing and stuff like that.
Did you talk directly with Holly about the breeding?
I did not, it was mostly between Mindy and Holly.
Then, were you, aware of when Kelly arrived on the property?
Yes.
And what did you understand was going to happen to Kelly?
My understanding was that we were to, get her bred and confirm that she was bred, and then we don't have to.
Joseph Humphrey, I've told us, he did.
Yeah.
All good,
What did you do? Yes, I think they went on form, or have the paperwork on
And describe, I'm sure most board members, describe what, altitude breathing is.
it. It's sometimes called hand breathing, it's where you control the stud, and somebody controls the mare. And it prevents both from injuring each other, and, you have somewhat control of both of them. But they can still get kicked, unless you're gonna haul them or, you know, and they still can get kicked if they're hauling, but hauling the food.
Was there an effort made to, halted,
Yeah. So,
what happened?
I don't know how to say it. We didn't know what to do. I mean, I don't know what terms to use. He just stood there. I could tie this down to a gelding and load him with my geldings, and he never acted like a stud because he didn't know that he was a stud. And it took a few days. I sat there with him, and then I called Dr. Block and he was finished. And
Anytime you call about the block, what did you decide to?
he suggested pasture breeding, so let me figure it out.
Did you proceed to try the factory breeding?
Yes, I did, but I also contacted a stallion farm to see if there was, any other way that we could, get them to breed in AI, the dummies, but, the lady didn't have time to train me, so,
So, did you proceed to the factory breeding?
yeah.
So describe how you did that.
Well, we took them out from the pens and we put them in the back pasture together.
How long, roughly, how many days or how many days in the hands while you were on altitude before you started factory breeding?
I don't recall.
And then, did you observe the pasture breeding in a way where you thought there might be successful breeding?
Yes.
How long did that take?
I think she was in within,
Did you give hormones or anything to the mare to help to reduce, breeding?
yes, we gave her a shot, and she got from Dr. Blackwell.
And what did you understand the shot would do?
Doing American,
And would it take some time, 2 days?
4 to 7 days from my understanding.
So after 4 to 7 days, the mare should repeat, and then the mare, so.
Yes.
At any time, you determined that you thought it was pregnant.
There was a time, they weren't chasing each other as often, so I suggested to Nettie that we needed to separate the horses, and, that didn't go very well, because they were calling to each other, and, she was showing signs of heat next to a gelding that had a heat.
So you go back and pasture.
Yes.
Prior to the day you noticed the injury, did you ever separate them?
No.
Now, during this time period, when you were pasture breeding Kelly, can you describe your relationship with the livestock board in terms of, did you have concerns that the livestock board would be interested or would take action if they saw you doing something about it?
Yes.
Were you on parole?
Probation.
Probation.
Yes.
You were both on probation. Did that lead you to, well, let me ask it this way. Would you have risked your probation by having horse with a broken leg in your hands in an open, obvious way that you would lose?
No.
Did you notice any kind of injury on Kelly before the 24th?
No, just the scabs, the little, nothing.
So the scouts, yes, we looked at, This is in the so this is the this is in increase. You see it before. So, go ahead. So, have you noticed that scab before the 24th of May?
Yes.
And have you noticed, well, describe when you put close in, notice that?
It was during the time she was with the stallion, they were just chasing each other and kicking on each other.
Would you, was Kelly still able to run, their weight, walk
Yes,
with this injury?
yes.
So, how frequently do you use Solid during the month of May?
Every day, because we usually check waters and feed them on certain times in the morning and that.
If you had a broken leg or you saw on the 24th, would you address it?
Yes.
Are you familiar with those kinds of sprays?
I've never had anything broken to that extent, but I've had accidents happen that look similar, but not often. I mean, it's like very rare.
Describe when you first noticed, that's a movement injury to the, impaired Kelly's ability to walk, stand.
It was that day of the 24th, I took my son to the bus stop, and, usually after that, I feed and check everybody in water. And, I walked to the pasture and checked their water, and I noticed, the mare on the backside was coming in kind of slow. Like she couldn't,
What did you
I went and got Nettie from the side, and I told her that the horse was could be injured, and we just separated, and check it out.
What did you get that?
Nettie got, pain meds and, dexamethasone, and, while I was holding her, I was icing and watering her leg, and was hoping that it wasn't broke. And so we put her back in the corral and kept an eye on her.
Did you reach out to the veterinarian?
Yes, after a while, it wasn't looking good, and I told Nettie she needed to get a vet, so I tried to get a hold of, Mary Jane Cooper, who didn't text me back till the following day and said that her machine was down. I tried to call Warren Franklin and say it was closer, and, he didn't answer. I blew up his phone about 30 times until he answered, and finally answered.
What did you tell him?
I told him I have a horse, that may be injured that we need to.
What was his response?
He told me that it may be just a dinger to give her sanity and, just to keep an eye on her, that she should be okay.
Did you do that?
No, I told him it would be worse than, because I have kept an eye on her.
So I don't know, it's a, in the morning, May 24th, and taking you out of school, so it's your son. It's like school.
Mm-hmm.
What have you heard from either Holly or Mr. Tadero about them planning to show up, pay you or anything?
They never contacted us besides texting Nettie that they were gonna be here Saturday. We already knew they were on their way, because, Town Island, the farrier called us,
How did that indicate to you?
because they were gonna pick up the SUV, something that they supposedly paid him, but they were.
The fact that they were coming, or told you they were coming, that had anything to do with how you chose to handle Kelly that way?
No,
Did you try to keep them away from the property or not inform them about what was going on?
no.
When did you let them know that Kelly was injured?
It was when I located the trailer with the map, and, we were thinking to take him to one. If we could get a hold of him, but we were prepared,
And, where did you get them?
from a friend of mine.
So that took you a while to get that hurt?
Yes, because he wasn't there and we didn't know where he was. He lives on the reservation, so we didn't want to be driving all over the reservation trying to find his house.
Did you do anything to, limit access to Kelly from either Holly or Mr. Sheriff?
No.
And then they, in fact, show up at your property?
Yes, as soon as I pulled in, I was getting the kids ready and, letting them use the bathroom and stuff, and, we were preparing to help them.
What time you got a call? Did you call? What time you
Probably on the top, honestly.
okay. And you were planning to take Kelly out the family?
Yes,
At that time, the Holly only one, you are going to have money for Rena.
yes, we did.
How much did she owe?
On the,
Approximately.
3,000 something.
What have you done to put a lien to protect, your life and something?
I went the day before to the courthouse to see what the property was. When we put a lien on the house, they guided me to it. I had half the paperwork done, they were closing, so I went home, signed it, and that was the day before that. But
So that was all done the day before you found out what you,
yes, and I turned that lien in, that following day.
the day on.
Yes, when I was going to pick up the trailer and this girl in the way around,
Where did you turn
at Arizona.
the courthouse?
Yes.
Did that delay your treatment of Chloe in any way?
No, because I was waiting for the whole trailer.
Once you identified an injury to Kelly, did you do anything other than focusing on get Kelly treated?
No, the focus was on the post.
Did you delay to cause or allow Kelly to suffer?
No,
Did you and Eddie work together to as quickly as possible?
yes.
When you went to see Dr. Franklin, did you personally see the X-ray?
I was walking in and they were taking the X-rays, just at the entrance, and then I went back to the truck because I had the kids.
So you never really saw the X-ray?
No,
And were you asked to leave?
no.
Why did you leave Dr. Franklin?
Eddie came to the truck, I asked him what the result was, he said it was broke, and told me to leave.
Last semester, it's been hard to remember to speak up, off the forward, and then kind of off the forward.
Oh. I'm trying to find something that
So there was mention of, so in addition to yourself and Natalie, who else, regularly sees horses in the pasture?
my neighbors, my sister, She sees me sometimes when she drives by, she lives down the road.
And, yeah, one second. Did you describe which medications Maggie administered?
There was you, dexamethasone and you.
And how did you have those meds with you?
How?
Why did you have them?
I keep them in case of, if a horse is colicky or if there is injury, just on hand.
Those meds, they require that to prescribe them?
Yes,
And so you have them on a veterinary prescription? And what is your understanding of how strong the medication was?
in my opinion, that means like morphine to a person, like a tolerance to a horse, in my opinion.
Well, morphine and Tylenol are good, so which one?
I mean, depending on, well, yeah, morphine to a human.
So it's a strong pain medication?
Yes,
Was that the strongest pain medication that you and Nanny had available?
yes.
How was it administered?
Through the mainline, the RD,
It was
or, yes.
And do you know what the dose was?
I don't,
Did you notice any change in body after that was administered?
yes, he was relaxed.
How was she before that was administered?
He really didn't show signs of stress that I saw. I mean, she wasn't sweating, she was just having a hard time walking. And she was, like, wanting to walk, but it was very, like, on the tiptoe.
Now, there's been discussion about, her weight or her condition, thinness. During the course of the pasture breeding, have you noticed whether she had gained or lost weight?
She had lost them along with my son.
And, was it enough that you actually could observe that, notice it?
If you really live, yes,
And did you affect that?
yes.
Why did you affect that?
Because when horses are breeding, they're more focused on breathing, just like a dog, if it takes off and don't come back for weeks, they lose a little weight.
So because of focus on, essentially focus on breeding, the appetite or eating is
Yes,
sort of secondary?
yes,
Did you keep food available
yes.
at all times? Did you have any discussions with Dr. Franklin in that first phone call?
No,
You didn't talk to him out of the office.
no.
That's all the questions I have, thank you. Did you, keep that?
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about your experience breeding horses. You talked about breeding a stud earlier in your career, right?
Right,
And that was done by pasture breeding.
yes,
But as you say, he got out of control, and so you had to stop it.
yes,
Out of control meaning he became violent,
yes.
and you were afraid he'd hurt the other horse.
Not only the horse, but myself handling.
Fair enough. So did you have any communication with either Anthony or Robert and Polly about pasture breeding, you yourself?
No,
Okay. So you would recognize then that the pasture breeding in this case, because again you had a very young stud, could be dangerous to Pelly.
yes,
The your residence and business there in Hondo, you would say that there are some stalls on the backside of your house.
Yeah.
The, you did not attempt AI, artificial insemination, correct?
Can attempt that if it's still not done.
Okay, but I'm going to say, there were reasons why you didn't attempt it in this case. And did you attempt to bring in any experts to help you with that process?
Yes, I did.
And that's the one where you said they weren't available.
Yes.
So rather than wait, you decided to do the pasture breed.
Because of, Holly, she kept insisting that her mare needed to be bred.
Okay. So she wanted to breed them fast.
Yes.
But again, you personally did not discuss with her that you're going to take on the decision to make perform the dangerous pasture breed.
Yes.
Defense counsel asked if you were on probation at that time, is that right? What were you on probation for?
I'm not gonna talk about that. I mean,
Carol, she's on roll, she needs to answer the question.
Unless it's around cruelty issue, I think I don't think it's relevant unless it's cruelty.
It's up to the full person. It's up to you.
I'm on misdemeanor probation. I was accused of larceny of cattle, which was untrue, and Dickens knows it's untrue. I have paperwork to show it's untrue, but I pled it down to a misdemeanor in an attempt to file a lawsuit against livestock board.
So you're on probation for a misdemeanor related to, theft of livestock?
Yeah.
Okay. And your statement was you didn't see any injury to Pelly before the 24th?
I stated that I saw the scab.
Okay, you're right, I apologize. You saw a scab before the 24th, and you did not see the injury to the leg, as a both of them?
No.
Okay. And when you called, you said, you didn't believe it, or you were hoping it wasn't broken?
Yeah.
Again, with your training and experience, 10 years in this business, you didn't immediately recognize that as a broken leg?
It didn't look broken. It was, I'm not a vet, so I can't determine whether it's a broken leg or if it was just what Warren calls a demon.
Okay, the leg, as the horse moved around and wobble and have a knee in the wrong place as the
No, it was not floppy.
You didn't notice it, or it was not?
It was not from what I was looking at. I mean, it wasn't, swinging.
Okay. And you indicated that losing weight during the mating process is not unusual for those that are undergoing pasture breeding, correct?
Correct.
Is it unusual for the horse to lose more weight on one side versus the other?
I cannot determine that.
In your experience?
I've never seen it, so I cannot comment on that.
You ever seen it in your 10 years of doing breeding, a horse lose weight on one side and gain muscle on the other side?
Not that I ever noticed or saw. I mean, again, I'm not a vet to determine that.
Okay. And at that time, did you believe Pelly was impregnated? Was she with full?
She looked to be out of heat, so we were hoping.
Okay. With that, was there any discussion with the vets before giving pain medication, whether those pain medications would be dangerous to a potential pregnancy?
No.
So on the 23rd, the decision was made to go to the courthouse and file a lien,
Yes.
and that was for payments on Rico?
No.
I'm sorry, Reno?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there a reason why Pelly was involved in that too?
Kelly wasn't on the lead.
Okay, just Reno?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next day, after you see the injury, that's when you formally filed the lien, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
it's moved, if everyone is agreeable, we can, recess for about an hour.
So we could probably finish now.